Scene 1. Exterior. Dusty gas station day. The camera pans over an isolated gas station, the sun blazing overhead. The neon sign flickers weakly. Desert gas and dine. The hot wind kicks up dust. Suddenly, the roar of motorcycles echoes in the distance, growing louder until a gang of outlaw bikers storms in, engines rumbling. Narrator calm, gritty tone. In the heart of nowhere, where the sun scorches the earth and secrets burn deeper than the sand, trouble always finds a way. The lead biker, Rex, parks his blacked-out chopper, dust swirling around him. He pulls off his helmet, scarred face, cold eyes. His crew follows, laughing loudly, their leather jackets marked with the Steel Vulture's emblem. Rex gruffly, "All right boys, quick stop. Fill up, grab a drink, and keep your eyes open." They dismount, boots crunching on gravel. A tense silence lingers. Inside the gas station, Mia, the cashier, peeks through the dusty blinds. Her hand trembles slightly as she dials an old rotary phone. Scene 2. Interior. Gas station. Mia slams the phone down, it's dead. The bikers push the door open, the bell jingling aggressively. Rex strides to the counter, smirking. Rex. "Hot day, huh? How about a cold drink?" Mia forces a smile, sliding a soda across the counter. One of the bikers, Tank, starts messing with the gumball machine, slamming it till gumballs roll across the floor. Mia nervously, "You guys passing through?" Rex leaning in. "Something like that." Through the window, a cloud of dust rises. Another vehicle approaches, fast. Mia's eyes widen. Scene 3. Exterior. Gas station lot. A black SUV screeches to a halt. Out steps Caleb, mid-30s, rugged but calm, wearing a dusty sheriff's badge. He eyes the gang coolly, his hand hovering near his belt. Caleb. "Afternoon, Rex. Thought you boys were banned from this side of town." Rex grinning. "Afternoon, Sheriff. Just refueling, nothing illegal." Yet, the tension thickens. A dust devil spins in the background. Caleb's radio crackles, but he doesn't break eye contact. Caleb. Long as it stays that way. Scene 4. Showdown vibes. Mia watches, heart pounding. She spots something. Rex's crew is quietly loading duffel bags from their bikes into the gas station's backroom. Her eyes dart to Caleb. Mia whispering, "They're hiding something." Caleb nods slightly. He flicks open his holster. Rex notices, his smile fading. Rex growling, "You really want to do this, Sheriff?" For a moment, silence. Caleb. "Not today. But I'm watching." He backs away, giving Mia a subtle nod before driving off. The bikers laugh, but Rex's gaze lingers on Mia. Suspicious, cold. Ending note. Continuous hook. As the bikers gear up to leave, Mia quietly slips a crumpled photo onto the counter. An old picture of her with Caleb, back when they were partners. She watches the gang ride off into the desert haze, knowing this isn't over. Narrator. Out here in the middle of nowhere, history runs deep, and the dust never forgets. Cut to black. Scene 2. Exterior. Gas station day. The sun beats down mercilessly as the Steel Vulture's bikers line up their roaring motorcycles next to the dusty gas pumps. Their leather jackets, each marked with a skull patch, gleam under the sun, dust clinging to the worn fabric. Laughter erupts among them, deep, rowdy, and unsettling, as they crack crude jokes and slap each other's backs. Tank, chuckling loudly, "Man, this heat's cooking me alive. Feels like hell decided to move upstate." He guzzles water straight from the bottle, letting half of it spill down his beard-streaked chin. Another biker, Vex, kicks the gas pump in frustration. "Come on, old thing. I ain't got all day." The flickering neon sign above buzzes louder, like it senses the tension in the air. The laughter continues, echoing across the barren desert, pulling the attention of a few onlookers. An old man in a beat-up truck and a young couple passing by. Both quickly avert their gazes, uneasy. Inside the gas station, Mia crouches low, peeking through the blinds, her hand tightening around a rusty baseball bat under the counter. Mia, muttering to herself, "Not again. I don't need this today." Outside, Rex lights a cigarette, smoke curling into the dry air. His eyes scan the horizon, then land on the gas station's front window, right where Mia's hiding. He smirks as if he knows. Rex to his crew, "Fill him up, boys. We're not done here yet." The bikers cheer, revving their engines. Dust swirls violently as the uneasy calm starts to crack. Scene 3, exterior. Gas station day. Just beyond the gas station, parked under the scant shade of a brittle Joshua tree, a police cruiser sits quietly, dust settling on its windshield. The soft hum of its idling engine blends into the desert's heavy silence. Inside, Officer Daniels, mid-40s, rugged and stoic, takes a slow sip of lukewarm coffee. His sharp eyes, hidden behind mirrored sunglasses, watch the bikers through the rearview mirror. In the back seat, his loyal K9 partner, a sharp-eared German shepherd named Rex, sits alert but calm, his amber eyes focused on the rumbling motorcycles. Officer Daniels, grumbling, "Always the damn bikers. Never when I'm off duty." He lowers his coffee, the rim dented from years of use, and picks up the radio mic, thumb hesitating over the button. In the distance, the bikers' laughter echoes again, louder this time. Daniels to himself, "Too loud. Cocky. Something's off." The German shepherd lets out a low growl, his snout pressed against the window, ears twitching. Daniels smirking, "You feel it too, huh, buddy?" He gently pats the K9's head before scanning the gas station. Through the dusty glass, he spots Mia moving behind the counter. Too quickly, too nervous. His jaw tightens. The cruiser door creaks as Daniel steps out, boots crunching on gravel. Dust swirls around his legs. He casually adjusts his belt, hand resting near his holstered weapon as he walks toward the station, the German shepherd's eyes tracking every movement from the car. The bikers notice. Their laughter falters for a beat, replaced by sideways glances and muttered curses. Rex, the biker leader, flicks his cigarette away, the smirk on his face replaced by a thin, cold line. Rex, to his crew, under his breath, "Looks like the law's awake. Don't do anything stupid. Yet." The air thickens with tension, the sun baking down harder than ever. Scene 4, exterior. Gas station day. Officer Daniels walks steadily toward the gas station, dust swirling around his boots. His cruiser idles behind him, the German shepherd inside still calm but alert, his sharp eyes locked onto the bikers. One of the younger bikers, Spike, lean, wiry, with a jagged scar down his cheek, catches sight of the dog. A wicked grin spreads across his face as he elbows Vex and points at the K9 through the cruiser window. Spike sneering, "What's this? A tough cop dog. Looks soft to me." The other bikers chuckle darkly, their voices echoing off the cracked asphalt. Spike picks up a small rock and lightly tosses it toward the cruiser. It bounces harmlessly off the glass, but the German shepherd immediately perks up, ears sharp, body stiffening. Officer Daniels, without turning around, "I wouldn't do that again if I were you." Daniels stops a few feet from Rex, the gang leader, and tips his sunglasses down just enough to shoot a cold glare at Spike. Spike mocking, "What? The mutt gonna bite me through the window?" Inside the cruiser, the German shepherd growls low, teeth just barely bared, though he remains seated. His patience mirrors Daniels, controlled but on the edge. Rex, the biker leader, smirking, "Easy, Spike. Some dogs don't bark before they bite." Daniels gives Rex a knowing nod, acknowledging the twisted wisdom in his words. Daniels calmly, "Smart one you got there. Shame the rest of you can't say the same." The tension spikes. The bikers stiffen, hands twitching near pockets and belts. But Rex, the leader, raises a hand, keeping them in check. Rex grinning, "We're just fueling up, officer. No harm, no foul." Daniels glances back at his cruiser. his canine's sharp eyes still locked on the bikers, the faintest growl vibrating in his chest. He turns back, narrowing his eyes at Rex. "Daniels. Long as it stays that way. But if my dog so much as sneezes wrong, I'll make sure none of you leave this lot." The bikers fall silent. For a beat, it's just the wind and the low hum of engines. Then, one by one, the bikers back off, still laughing but more forced now, filling up their tanks in tense silence. Daniels gives one last glance at Mia through the gas station window. She's watching wide-eyed, silently mouthing "thank you" before heading back toward his cruiser. The canine's tail wags once, but his focus never shifts. Narrator in an engaging tone. Narrator. On a dusty highway where the sun scorches the road and the wind carries the echoes of adventure, a pack of bikers races through the vast landscape. But amidst the thunder of engines, a lone dog stands defiantly in their path. Small in size, but with a heart braver than steel. Sound of engines slowing down, bikers laughing. Biker 1 mocking. "Haha. Look at this mutt. Thinkin' he can block us." Biker 2 revving engine. "Let's see if he can outrun a bike. Vroom vroom." Asterisk, the bikers laugh, making barking noises, taunting the dog. Narrator in a deep, suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a long, deserted highway, where the sun blazes down and the road stretches endlessly, a pack of bikers roars through the silence. But then, right in the middle of their path stands a lone dog. Small, dusty, but with eyes filled with fierce determination. Sound of engines slowing down as the bikers spot the dog. Biker 1 mocking, laughing. "Whoa! Look at this mutt. Thinks he owns the road." Engines rev louder as they surround the dog, circling him. Biker 2 taunting, making barking sounds. "Woof woof. Hey buddy, this ain't your turf." The dog remains still. Its intelligent eyes lock onto the bikers, but its ears twitch at the sound of roaring engines. It doesn't move, doesn't flinch. Biker 3 grinning. "Bet he's frozen in fear. Let's give him a real scare." Engines rev violently, dust flies, but the dog just stands tall, unmoved. Scene 2. The standoff background. Heartbeat sound, tension builds. Narrator. But this wasn't just any stray. This dog had seen more than these bikers could imagine. And it wasn't fear that kept him still, it was courage. The dog growls softly, tail raised, his paws digging into the dirt, ready to spring. Biker 1 surprised. Guys. He's not backing down." The bikers exchange confused looks. One of them throws a soda can towards the dog. The can hits the ground near its paws, but the dog doesn't even blink. Biker 2 smirking. "All right, tough guy, time for a little game." He speeds his bike towards the dog, engine roaring, but at the last second, the dog leaps gracefully to the side, avoiding the bike with lightning reflexes. Biker 3 shocked. "Whoa! Did you see that? He's fast." Scene 3. The chase background. Intense music starts. Narrator. Suddenly the dog bolts, not out of fear, but leading them straight into the desert plains. The bikers, half laughing, half impressed, follow, turning it into a wild chase. Engines roar again as dust clouds rise. The dog weaves through rocks, leaps over fallen branches, its speed unmatched. Biker 1 panting while riding. "He's actually outrunning us." One biker gets too close. The dog suddenly swerves, causing the biker to lose balance and tumble into the sand. Biker 3 laughing while riding. "Man down. This pup's got moves." Scene 4. The twist background. Wind slowing, desert silence returns. The remaining bikers finally stop, panting, their engines cooling down. The dog stands on a rock above them, looking down victoriously. Biker 2 wiping sweat. "He totally played us." But then, in the distance, faint barking sounds echo. From the horizon, a whole pack of dogs emerges, all sprinting towards the scene. Narrator excited tone. And he wasn't alone. This was his territory. His pack was never far behind. Biker 1 nervous. Time to go. Engines roar back to life as the bikers speed off, chased by the pack, while the brave dog watches with a proud, satisfied look. Scene 5. Closing background. Calm breeze, distant barking fades. Narrator soft, reflective tone. Sometimes the smallest guardian holds the greatest courage. And on this dusty highway, one lone dog reminded everyone that this road was never theirs to own. The camera zooms out. The desert stretches on, peaceful again, as the dog trots off with his pack. End scene. Narrator in a suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a dusty highway under the blazing sun, a group of bikers pulls up at a lonely gas station. Engines hum, dust swirls, and silence hangs heavy, until a low growl breaks it. There at the station's edge, a lone dog stands still, its intelligent eyes locked onto the noisy intruders. Bikers rev their engines, mocking the dog. They bark and laugh, circling him. Biker 1 teasing. "Hey, little guy. Lost your pack." Biker 2 revving the engine. "Let's see if you can outrun this." The dog doesn't flinch. Its ears perk up as the engines roar, but it stands its ground, unafraid. Scene 2. The alarm background. Tension builds, distant siren sound. Suddenly, the gas station door bursts open. The clerk runs out, waving frantically. Clerk shouting, "Hey! One of them just stole from the store." The bikers freeze for a second before bursting into laughter. One biker pulls a candy bar from his jacket and waves it mockingly. Biker 3 grinning. "Relax, old man. Just a little snack." But before they can rev off, the dog leaps forward, barking fiercely. He positions himself between the bikers and the exit road. Narrator. This wasn't just about a stolen snack. This dog had a code, and on this highway, he wasn't letting anyone break it. Scene 3. The chase begins. Background. Engines roar, dog barks loudly. The bikers laugh but rev their engines, heading straight for the road. The dog bolts after them, his paws kicking up clouds of dust. Biker 1 shouting, "He's actually chasing us. Go, go, go." The camera follows the intense chase, the dog weaving between bikes, nipping at tires. One biker skids sideways, nearly losing balance. Narrator. But the pup wasn't alone in this fight. From a nearby alley, other stray dogs appear, joining the chase. The bikers, now outnumbered, start to panic. Scene 4. The showdown background. Desert winds, tense music. One biker drops the stolen item, hoping to end the chase. The lead dog picks it up, returning to the gas station while the others continue the pursuit. Biker 2 breathing heavily. "Let's get outta here. These dogs are nuts." Engines roar as the bikers vanish into the desert, chased by barking strays. Scene 5. The victory background. Calm breeze, birds chirping. The lead dog trots back to the gas station, candy bar in his mouth. The clerk kneels down, smiling wide. Clerk gratefully, "You're one tough guardian, buddy. This place is lucky to have you." He pats the dog's head as the camera pans out, the highway stretching into the horizon, peaceful once again. Narrator soft, reflective. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes they even have 4 legs and a heart full of courage. End scene. Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert winds, distant engines roaring. Narrator in a deep, suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a long stretch of highway where dust dances in the sun's heat, a gang of bikers pulls into an old gas station. Engines roar, dust clouds swirl, and a lone dog stands at the edge of the road, its sharp eyes locked onto the noisy intruders. The bikers rev their engines, laughing and mocking the dog. Biker 1 teasing, "Look at this mutt. Thinks he's a tough guy." Biker 2 barking noises. "Woof woof. Come on, pup. What you gonna do?" The dog remains still. Its intelligent eyes never waver, but its ears perk up at the sound of distant sirens approaching. Scene 2, the theft and the call background. Sirens approaching, tension builds. The gas station door bursts open as the clerk runs out, waving his arms frantically. Clerk shouting. One of them just stole from the store. The bikers laugh as one of them waves a bag of stolen items. Biker 3 mocking. Catch us if you can, old man. They rev their engines, kicking up dust. But before they can speed off, police siren wails closer. A police cruiser screeches to a halt nearby. Inside, an officer calmly sips his coffee, but hearing the commotion, he throws it aside and throws open the cruiser door. In a flash, a K9 bolts out. Calm one moment, fierce the next. Its paws hit the ground hard as it locks onto the fleeing bikers. Narrator intense. The game had just changed. Scene 3, the wild chase background. Engines roaring, intense music. The bikers tear down the highway, but the K9 is fast. Way faster than they expected. The dog leaps over debris, weaving through dirt clouds, gaining ground. Biker 1 panicked. That's no ordinary dog. He's gaining on us. The K9 snaps at the back tire of the last biker, sending him skidding into the sand. One down. The others push their bikes faster, but the K9 doesn't stop. Meanwhile, the lone stray dog from earlier joins the chase, barking loudly as if signaling something. Narrator. It wasn't just about the stolen goods now. It was about justice, K9 style. Scene 4. The showdown background. Dust storm, sirens fading. The remaining bikers cut through an off-road trail, but the K9 and Stray work together, cutting off paths, herding the bikers like sheep. The K9 lunges, grabbing the backpack carrying the stolen items, yanking it clean off one biker. The police cruiser catches up, and the officer jumps out, cuffing the fallen bikers. Officer catching his breath. Good boy, Max. You still got it. The stray dog trots over, tail wagging, as if expecting praise too. Officer smiling. And you're coming with us. Scene 5. The resolution background. Calm breeze, soft music. The officer loads the stray into the back of the cruiser next to Max. The two dogs share a moment, a nod of mutual respect. Narrator warm tone. Out on these endless roads, sometimes the bravest defenders walk on four legs. And sometimes, they make new friends along the way. The cruiser drives off into the horizon, the dust settling as the sun begins to dip low. End scene. Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert winds, low engine rumble. Narrator in a suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a forgotten stretch of highway, where the sun burns hot and the air is thick with dust, a gang of bikers pulls into an old gas station. Their engines growl low like predators stalking prey. But at the edge of the lot, a lone stray dog stands still, its sharp eyes locked onto the intruders. The bikers laugh, revving their engines and barking at the dog. Biker 1 mocking. Look at this mutt. Thinks he's the king of the road. Biker 2 grinning. Woof woof. Hey buddy, this road ain't yours. The dog doesn't move. Its intelligent eyes watch them, but its ears twitch, picking up a distant siren. Trouble's coming. Scene 2. The theft and the officer's arrival background. Tension builds, siren approaching. The gas station door bursts open. The clerk runs out, waving his arms. Clerk yelling. One of them just stole from the store. The bikers laugh. One of them waves a bag of stolen goods before tossing it into a backpack. Biker 3 smirking. Catch me if you can, old man. But before they can ride off, a police cruiser screeches around the corner. It halts sharply, tires kicking up dust. Inside, the officer throws his coffee aside and flings open the cruiser door. In a split second, the K9 bolts out. Calm one moment, fierce the next. Its paws hit the ground hard as it locks onto its target. Scene 3. The K9 strikes background. Intense drums, engines revving. The bikers barely react before the K9 lunges at the thief, expertly tackling him to the ground with precision. Dust swirls around them as the thief lets out a grunt, pinned by the K9's powerful paws. Biker 1 shocked. Whoa! He took him down in one hit. The thief struggles, but the K9 tightens its grip, growling deep and low. Officer rushing over shouting, "Good boy, Max. Hold him." He cuffs the fallen biker as the other bikers try to speed off. But the stray dog, the silent observer, suddenly bolts forward, cutting across their path. Scene 4. The wild chase background. Engines roaring, dogs barking. The remaining bikers peel off down the highway, but now the K9 and the stray are in pursuit. Tires screech, dust clouds rise, and the desert becomes a racetrack. Narrator. The K9 had the speed. The stray. He had the street smarts. The K9 charges directly at the fleeing bikers, while the stray takes a side trail, cutting them off. One biker swerves, loses control, and tumbles into the sand. Biker 2 frantic. These dogs are insane. Go, go, go. But it's too late. The stray leaps forward, grabbing onto the biker's pant leg, yanking him off the bike. Another one down. Scene 5. The resolution background. Sirens fading, calm breeze. The officer pulls up in the cruiser, steps out, and rounds up the remaining bikers. Max, the K9, returns with the stolen bag clutched in his mouth. The stray follows, his tail wagging slightly, dust clinging to his fur. Officer grinning. Looks like we've got another deputy on our hands. He kneels down, giving the stray a pat on the head. Max, the K9, lets out a low approving bark. Narrator warm tone. Sometimes the toughest guardians of the road don't ride bikes or drive cruisers. They run on 4 legs and follow their instincts to do what's right. The cruiser drives off, the stray now sitting proudly next to Max. The desert stretches behind them, peaceful once again. End scene. Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert breeze, low engine rumbles. Narrator in a deep, suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a dusty, forgotten highway, where the sun scorches the earth and silence rules the road, a gang of bikers pulls into an old gas station. Their engines growl low, dust spirals in the air, and on the edge of the lot, a lone stray dog watches, silent but alert. The bikers rev their engines, mocking the dog. Biker 1 mocking. Look at this mutt. Thinks he's the sheriff around here. Biker 2 laughing, making barking noises. Woof woof. You gonna stop us, buddy? The dog remains still, eyes locked on them, but his ears twitch, picking up something they can't hear yet. Distant sirens. Scene 2. The theft and the officer's arrival background. Siren growing closer, rising tension. Suddenly, the gas station door bursts open. The clerk runs out, waving frantically. Clerk yelling. One of them just stole from the store. The bikers laugh. One of them waves a bag of stolen goods before tossing it into a backpack. Biker 3 grinning. Catch us if you can, old man. But before they can flee, a police cruiser screeches around the corner, sirens wailing. The officer, calm but focused, tosses his coffee aside and throws open the cruiser door. In an instant, the K9 bolts out, its demeanor shifting from calm to fierce as it charges straight at the thief. Scene 3. The takedown background. Engines revving, intense music. The bikers barely react before the K9 lunges at the thief, expertly tackling him to the ground with precision. Dust clouds rise as the thief lets out a grunt, pinned beneath the K9's powerful paws. Biker 1 shocked. Whoa! That dog's a beast. The officer rushes over, cuffs clicking as he secures the stunned thief. The K9 stands proudly by his side, chest heaving but steady. The remaining bikers sit on their bikes, frozen in shock, watching as their buddy is dragged away in cuffs. Biker 2 nervous. We gotta get outta here now. Scene 4. The chase begins background. Roaring engines barking. The remaining bikers peel out, dust flying as they speed down the highway. The K9 barks sharply and the stray dog, still watching, suddenly bolts into action, following the bikers. Narrator intense. But out here, the road has its own defenders. The canine and the stray now run side by side, one trained for justice, the other driven by instinct. Together, they close the distance fast. One biker swerves hard, trying to shake them, but the stray dog leaps, snapping at his boot. The biker loses control, his bike skidding out in a cloud of sand. Biker 3 panicking. They're everywhere. These dogs are relentless. Scene 5. The final capture background. Fading sirens, distant thunder. The last biker speeds ahead, but the canine leaps with perfect timing, pulling the biker clean off the bike. The engine sputters and dies. The officer pulls up seconds later, cuffs in hand. Both dogs sit proudly as the officer rounds up the final biker. The stray dog, dusty but unhurt, wags his tail as the officer approaches. Officer grinning, kneeling. Well, look at you. Not bad for a rookie. He gives the stray a pat while Max, the canine, lets out an approving bark. Scene 6. The road home background. Soft music, birds in distance. The cruiser drives off, the canine and the stray both sitting in the back seat, the stolen bag secured beside them. The gas station fades into the distance as the sun dips lower on the horizon. Narrator warm, reflective. Sometimes heroes aren't called, they just show up when they're needed most. And sometimes they walk on 4 legs. End scene. Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert breeze, low engine rumbles. Narrator in a deep, suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a dusty highway where silence stretches for miles, a gang of bikers pulls into an old gas station. Their engines growl, dust swirls, and on the edge of the lot, a lone stray dog watches, still focused, waiting. The bikers rev their engines, mocking the dog. Biker 1 taunting. Look at this mutt. Thinks he's in charge. Biker 2 laughing, barking sounds. Woof woof. What you gonna do, huh? The stray stays calm, its intelligent eyes locked onto them, ears twitching at the faint sound of sirens in the distance. Scene 2. The theft and officer's arrival background. Sirens growing closer. The gas station door bursts open as the clerk rushes out, waving wildly. Clerk yelling. One of them just stole from the store. The bikers laugh. One of them waves a bag of stolen goods before throwing it into a backpack. Biker 3 grinning. Try and catch me, old man. Before they can ride off, a police cruiser screeches into the lot, sirens blaring. The officer steps out calmly, tossing aside his coffee, and opens the cruiser door. The K9 bursts out, muscles tensed, ready for action. Scene 3. The takedown background. Engines roaring, intense music. The bikers freeze in shock as the K9 charges, its paws digging into the dirt. In a split second, the K9 lunges at the thief, slamming him to the ground with precise force. The stolen bag flies from his hands as dust clouds swirl around them. Biker 1 stunned. He took him down in one move. The officer rushes over, cuffs clicking as he locks the thief's hands behind his back. The K9 stands proudly by his side, chest puffed, tongue hanging slightly from the rush of the chase. The remaining bikers, still sitting on their bikes, stare wide-eyed at the powerful K9. Officer, smirking, glancing at the bikers. Still think he's soft. The bikers exchange nervous glances before slamming their throttles and speeding off. Scene 4. The chase background. Roaring engines, sirens fading. The K9 barks sharply and bolts after the fleeing bikers. The stray dog, who's been watching it all unfold, suddenly joins the chase, his paws kicking up dust as he runs alongside the trained K9. Narrator intense. Sometimes, instincts run deeper than training. One biker tries to swerve, but the stray cuts across, forcing him off balance. His bike topples into the dirt. The K9 locks onto the last biker, lunges forward, and pulls him clean off the bike. Biker 2 panicked. Where did this stray come from? The officer arrives moments later, dust clouding his boots as he steps out and cuffs the last biker. Scene 5. The resolution background. Calm breeze, soft music. The officer glances at both dogs. His trained K9 standing tall and the dusty stray wagging its tail. Officer smiling. Two heroes, huh? Guess I've got room for one more. He opens the cruiser door. The stray jumps in, settling beside the K9. The officer chuckles, closing the door behind them. Scene 6. The road home background. Sunset, calm winds. The cruiser drives off into the horizon. In the back seat, the K9 and stray sit side by side. Partners now. Narrator warm, reflective. Out here loyalty runs deep. And sometimes, the road brings together the most unlikely heroes. End scene. Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert breeze, low engine rumbles. Narrator in a suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a sun-scorched highway, a gang of bikers pulls into a dusty gas station. Engines rumble like thunder as dust clouds swirl. At the corner of the lot, a lone stray dog watches, calm but alert. The bikers rev their engines, laughing and mocking the dog. Biker 1 taunting. Look at this stray. Thinks he's the king of the road. Biker 2 barking noises. Woof woof. Come on, tough guy. The dog doesn't flinch. Its intelligent eyes stay locked onto the bikers, ears perking up as a faint siren echoes in the distance. Scene 2. The theft and officer's arrival background. Rising tension, siren growing closer. Suddenly, the gas station door bursts open. The clerk runs out, waving his arms wildly. Clerk yelling. One of them just stole from the store. The bikers laugh. One of them waves a stolen bag before tossing it into a backpack. Biker 3 grinning. Better luck next time, old man. Before they can escape, a police cruiser screeches around the corner. The officer steps out calmly, tosses aside his coffee, and opens the cruiser door. The K9 bolts out, all focus and power. Scene 3. The takedown background. Engines revving, intense drums. The K9 charges, muscles rippling as it closes the distance. In one swift motion, it leaps and slams the thief to the ground. The stolen bag flies from his hand as dust swirls. Biker 1 shocked. He took him down like nothing. The officer rushes over, snapping cuffs onto the stunned thief. The K9 stands proudly by his side, chest heaving from the chase. The remaining bikers stare in disbelief, their hands tightening on their throttles. Officer, smirking, glancing at the bikers. Still think he's soft. The bikers gun their engines and peel off down the highway. Scene 4. The chase background. Roaring engines, sirens fading. The K9 barks sharply and bolts after the fleeing bikers. The stray, who's been silently watching, suddenly joins the chase. His paws kicking up dust as he runs alongside the K9. Narrator intense. Sometimes, instincts are stronger than training. One biker swerves trying to escape, but the stray leaps in front of him, forcing the biker to wipe out. The K9 catches up to the last rider, pulling him off his bike with precision. Biker 2 panicked. Where did this stray come from? The officer pulls up moments later, rounds up the last biker, and secures the scene. Scene 5. The hero's reward background. Calm breeze, soft music. Back at the gas station, the clerk kneels beside the K9, pulling out a treat from his pocket. Clerk, smiling, offering the treat. Good boy, you're a real hero. The K9 happily accepts the treat, tail wagging. The stray dog sits nearby, dust covering his fur but pride shining in his eyes. The officer notices. Officer grinning. You too, buddy. Got some fight in you. He tosses a treat to the stray, who catches it mid-air. The K9 gives an approving bark. Scene 6. The road home background. Sunset, soft breeze. The cruiser drives off into the sunset, both dogs sitting in the back seat, the trained K9 and the once-forgotten stray, now partners. Narrator warm, reflective. Heroes come in all forms, some trained for duty, others guided by instinct. But on this road they found their calling together. And Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert breeze, low engine rumbles. Narrator in a suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a sun-scorched highway, where silence reigns and the dust never settles, a gang of bikers rolls into a lonely gas station. Their engines roar like distant thunder, while at the edge of the lot, a lone stray dog sits, silent, observant, waiting. The bikers rev their engines, laughing and mocking the dog. Biker 1 taunting. "Look at this mutt. Thinks he runs the place." Biker 2 laughing, barking noises. "Woof woof. You got something to say, buddy." The stray remains still, its intelligent eyes locked onto the bikers. Its ears perk up as the faint sound of sirens echoes in the distance. Scene 2. The theft and officer's arrival background. Tension builds, sirens growing closer. The gas station door bursts open as the frantic clerk runs out, waving his arms. Clerk yelling. "One of them just stole from the store." The bikers laugh. One of them waves a stolen bag before tossing it into a backpack. Biker 3 grinning. "Catch us if you can, old man." But before they can flee, a police cruiser screeches around the corner. The officer steps out calmly, tosses his coffee aside, and opens the cruiser door. The K9 bolts out, focused, powerful, ready. Scene 3. The takedown background. Engines roaring, intense drums. The K9 charges with laser focus, muscles rippling. In seconds, it leaps and slams the thief to the ground. Dust clouds swirl as the stolen bag skids across the pavement. Biker 1 stunned. He took him down in one hit. The officer moves in fast, slapping the cuffs onto the stunned thief. The K9 stands tall at his side, breathing hard but steady. The other bikers stare in disbelief, hands tightening on their throttles. Officer, smirking, glancing at the bikers. Still think he's soft. Engines rev as the bikers panic and speed off down the highway. Scene 4. The chase background. Roaring engines, sirens fading. The K9 barks sharply, signaling the chase. Out of nowhere, the stray dog dashes forward, joining the K9 in the pursuit. They sprint side by side, one trained for justice, the other driven by pure instinct. Narrator intense. Sometimes you don't need a badge to know what's right. One biker swerves hard to shake them, but the stray leaps, snapping at his boot. The biker loses control, crashing into a ditch. The K9 locks onto the last rider, lunges, and drags him clean off the bike. Biker 2 panicked. Where did this stray come from? Moments later, the officer pulls up, cuffs in hand. He secures the last biker as the two dogs sit proudly, side by side. Scene 5. The hero's reward background. Calm breeze, soft music. Back at the gas station, the clerk kneels beside the K9, offering a treat. Clerk smiling. Good boy, you're a real hero. The K9 wags its tail, accepting the treat. The stray sits nearby, dust covering its fur but pride gleaming in its eyes. The officer notices, giving the stray a respectful nod. He then kneels beside his K9, gently petting him. Officer smiling. He always knows when it's time to be serious. The K9 lets out a soft bark as if agreeing, his tail thumping on the ground. Scene 6. The road home background. Sunset, calm winds. The cruiser drives off into the sunset. In the back seat, the K9 sits beside the stray, now no longer alone. Two heroes sharing the same road. Narrator warm, reflective. Some dogs are trained for the job, others, born for it. Either way, on this highway, they both found their purpose. And Scene 1. The gas station background. Desert breeze, low engine rumbles. Narrator in a suspenseful tone. Narrator. On a sun-scorched highway, where silence rules and the dust dances in the heat, A gang of bikers roars into a lonely gas station. Engines thunder, dust clouds rise, and at the edge of the lot, a lone stray dog watches, still focused, waiting. The bikers rev their engines, laughing and mocking the dog. Biker 1 taunting. "Look at this mutt. Thinks he runs the place." Biker 2 laughing, barking noises. "Woof woof. What are you gonna do, tough guy?" The stray doesn't flinch. Its sharp eyes stay locked on the bikers, ears perking up as faint sirens echo in the distance. Scene 2, the theft and officer's arrival background. Rising tension, sirens growing closer. Suddenly, the gas station door bursts open. The frantic clerk runs out, waving his arms wildly. Clerk yelling. "One of them just stole from the store." The bikers laugh. One of them swings a stolen bag before tossing it into his backpack. Biker 3 grinning. "Better luck next time, old man." Before they can peel out, a police cruiser screeches around the corner. The officer steps out calmly, tosses aside his coffee, and swings open the cruiser door. In an instant, the K9 bolts out, alert, fierce, and focused. Scene 3, the takedown background. Engines roaring, intense drums. The K9 charges with purpose, its paws thudding against the pavement. In seconds, it leaps, slamming the thief to the ground. The stolen bag skids across the asphalt as the dust swirls. Biker 1 stunned. He took him down like nothing. The officer rushes over, snapping cuffs onto the dazed thief. The K9 stands tall beside him, chest heaving but unwavering. The other bikers freeze, hands tightening on their throttles. Officer, smirking, glancing at the bikers. Still think he's soft. Engines roar as the bikers panic and speed off down the highway. Scene 4. The chase background. Roaring engines, sirens fading. The K9 barks sharply, signaling the chase. From the sidelines, the stray suddenly bolts into action, joining the K9 in hot pursuit. Side by side, they sprint, one trained for justice, the other led by instinct. Narrator intense. Sometimes you don't need a badge to know what's right. One biker tries to swerve away, but the stray leaps ahead, forcing him into a wipeout. The K9 locks onto the last rider, lunges, and drags him from the bike with flawless precision. Biker 2 panicked. Where did this stray come from? Moments later, the officer pulls up, cuffs in hand. He secures the last biker as the two dogs stand proudly, their mission complete. Scene 5. The hero's reward background. Calm breeze, soft music. Back at the gas station, the clerk kneels beside the K9, holding out a treat. Clerk smiling. "Good boy, you're a real hero." The K9 wags his tail as he takes the treat. The stray, still sitting nearby, watches. The officer notices and pulls out another treat. Officer grinning. "You earned this too, buddy." He tosses the treat to the stray, who catches it mid-air. The K9 gives an approving bark, as if welcoming the newcomer. The officer then kneels, running his hand down the K9's back. Officer smiling. He always knows when it's time to be serious. Scene 6. The road home background. Sunset, calm winds. The cruiser drives off into the sunset. In the back seat, the K9 sits beside the stray, no longer an outsider but now a part of the team. The bikers, once cocky and loud, ride away silently in the opposite direction, their arrogance replaced by quiet respect. Narrator warm, reflective. Some heroes are trained, others are born. But on this highway, both found their place, side by side. End scene.